Hello and welcome to Megan's Mystical Mashup, a spiritual conversation with me and a guest about life, the universe, and anything in between. I'm Megan Rounds, spiritual connector, mystical alchemist. Welcome to today's show. Today's guest has been a member of the Lightworkers Lab for 2 years and spends most of her time in the lab light room, the circle, and here in the main lab, where she hosts the weekly program Saturday Night with Spirit every Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. She resides in Waterford, California with her strong, kind, and generous mom, Christy, and 2 of her 3 kids, 11-year-old Cheyenne, who is highly sensitive and eager to learn energy healing techniques, and 13-year-old Tristan, who thinks it's weird that his mom is psychic and is afraid she can read his mind or instantly tell when he's done something wrong. Sounds like a fun, happy combination. She also has a 20-year-old daughter, Lily, who is highly clairvoyant with vivid dreams of past loved ones. Lily and her longtime boyfriend turned fiancé, Josh, have a beautiful son, Emmett, who is a 1.5 years. Her family extends beyond humans to also include 3 cats and a dog. One of her cats, Nonny, is her soulmate and taught her animal communication and that animals can, in fact, be our soulmates. As if her full, beautiful family isn't enough to keep her busy, she is also self-employed as an intuitive life coach, where she utilizes all of her skills to bring healing to others through psychic readings, mediumship, energy healing, animal communication, or as a divine channel for anything else spirit brings through. In her free time, which is amazing to hear, since she has, all of these other things going on in her life, she has been learning American Sign Language and also enjoys watching football. Please give a warm Lightworkers welcome to Heidi Corona. Okay, Heidi, you're on.
Hi, am I on?
You are. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. And I've been watching your show as long as I've been in the Lightworkers Lab. So this is like weird. It's almost like celebrity status. How does this happen? I don't know, but it's great to be here with you, Megan.
Oh,
I'm so excited. And when you read my introduction, I realized that we've had a new development since I let you know my daughter, who has my grandson, she's pregnant again.
really?
So it looks like we're looking for another grandbaby later in the year.
Yay.
I'm really excited about that. So I'm so glad to be here. I'll add that to my introduction.
Excellent. That's great. Congratulations. Just
Thank you.
love the things that you wrote about your family, and just the nuances. I really got into writing that.
It's been funny. It's been a funny journey. I can say my mom came into the Lightworkers Lab first.
Really?
And yeah, she came in. She was invited by her cousin, Denise, who's still there. She's my second cousin. I love Denise. Hi, Denise, if you're watching. But Denise brought us into the lab because we had lost several family members in a very close period of time. And so we were looking for comfort. My mom primarily was looking for comfort and solace and that kind of thing. So she had told me about the Lightworkers Lab. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. She was getting reading. Somebody read for me. I was like, that's neat. That's cool. It wasn't in my world. Right. It really wasn't. Yeah. I didn't believe that was anything that I could ever do. And I didn't believe that it was something that it wasn't in my world. That's all I can say. And I can tell you that the first time I realized, am I going too fast here?
Not at all. No, thank you.
The first time I realized that this was in my world, okay, I was at church and it was Mother's Day. And I was there with my mom and I was there with my kids. And it was a lovely service, and, we were, of course, sad for the other mothers in our family who weren't there with us, and they were in our hearts, definitely. But it was a lovely church service. And the vibration was so high. And that I just remember being so happy and my vibration was so high and I was so grateful to be there with everyone singing the church songs and this and that. And we were getting ready to leave and my mother's sister had passed like maybe 6 months prior. And that was one of our grieving, we were grieving for her.
Sure.
And so when we were in the church, I went to hug her granddaughter, who she was very close with. And when I went to hug her, I hugged her. And then I heard in my ear, and I wasn't even thinking of my aunt. So it startled me. My aunt's voice screamed in my ear, tell her grandma loves her. And it scared the daylights out of me, man. And at that moment, when she yelled that, clairaudience is what that is. And
Yep.
I didn't know I had that. I didn't know I had that. But in the high vibe of the church and being around my loved ones and so happy, and I
opened you
resonated,
up.
man. And that clairaudience opened right up for me. And my aunt yelled, tell her grandma loves her. But not only that, she grabbed me by my shoulders and shook me. Like I felt it. I said,
Wow.
oh my gosh. So really? So that's clairsentience also. That's like physical body sensations. And I didn't know anything about that either, right? So my aunt yelled that in my ear, shook my shoulders, like, you better tell her, and all I did was say, your grandma loves you. And she said, I know, and then we hugged and I let her go, right? Because like, it was really weird. But then I started to cry.
Oh.
I just started to cry right there in the church. And I told my mom, like, Aunt Kelly talked to me. Aunt Kelly talked to me, and she wanted me to let everyone know that she loves everyone,
Yeah.
Whew, it was really, really insane, like I didn't know what was going on, but I'll tell you what, I knew it was my aunt. I heard her voice. I felt her touch me, and she needed me to give that message. And it was the opportunity. I was open to it. She asked me to, and I said, I just gave the message.
Yep.
I didn't say your grandma's here and said she loves you, but I did say your grandma loves you, and she got that message. She says, I know it. And that really kind of snowballed it for me. When that happened, like literally, I came home from church, I cried my eyes out and told my mom, I don't know what's going on. Like it startled me, not like I'm afraid for me, but it startled me like I didn't even know this was a thing. And I didn't know how this happened at all, So then I was like, Mom, I need to go in that Lightworkers lab and I need them to read for me and find out what's going on with this weird stuff, right? So she got me right in. Oh yeah, I'll tell you how it works, because she's already on the lives and everything. And I jumped into the lives and people started reading for me. And I started following the regulars, and I took some of Crystal's intensives, definitely, because I was like, this was so out of left field. It's like, I have to lean into this. I have to find out what this is about. And it was healing for my family as well. Very healing for my family.
Were they open? Excuse me, I keep have a little thing in my throat. So they were open to the fact that you were beginning to experience these, these clairaudient and clairsentient experiences.
Yes. My family was very open. And actually, my mom asked me to speak about this beforehand. She said, are you going to talk about Aunt Kelly in the church? I said, yes. She said, talk about being open to it. Because that's the biggest thing, is being open to something like that in your life. Because here at my mom's home, we've seen our past relatives, like we've seen the ghosts. We call them the ghosts, okay? But they've been here for years, and we see them glimpse here, there, and we know they're just checking on us. And that has been, and my mom's seen them, my daughter's seen them, I've seen them, and it just is, and we're okay with it. We're just like, oh, I saw Papa Bill this morning, over by the porch, as if he was going to have a cigarette or something, because he used to live here, those kinds of things. And so that would happen, but like I'm saying, it wasn't regular. Like in maybe a 10-year span, maybe 4 or 5 things that we hold on to, these supernatural experiences where we saw something, knew something, felt something, cabinets opened, whatever. But we're open to it. This does happen. Our lives are magical. The magic for this monthly theme, like, this is the magic. Your life can be what you want it to be. Be open to it. That's the biggest thing. If you're not open to my relatives in spirit live on, they may contact me, they may talk to me, then you'll never hear them because it's not even a possibility.
Yeah, I agree. I love the fact that your relatives live in the same place where you and your mom live is just really cool, because to me it seems like there's the potential for an even deeper connection to them now that you are open to it, and
absolutely.
I love that. Okay, so I have to interject this thing. I've been watching a lot of the Ghost Whisperer replays. I've never watched it originally. Have you ever seen it?
I don't think so.
It's now replaying on, well, if you choose it, on Hulu. And I just came across it and I'm like, well, I had heard about it vaguely, but it was it was at a time when I wasn't really watching much TV and it was well before Hulu, I think. It's like 2006 or something to that effect. And I have been watching a lot of those. In fact, even my husband watches them, which is kind of a surprise because he's never really been that open to anything paranormal or supernatural or anything having to do with. I think it's because he's so sensitive himself, but he's kind of blocked that off. Probably one of my life purposes in the relationship with him is to help him to become more open, and he is stubborn. But I'm not telling him he has to be, but just the fact that he's like, he likes this show. But her experiences were one where she sees the ghosts and she can talk to them when other people can't, and how she goes about addressing it with people who have a high level of skepticism is fascinating to me. It's actually probably one of my biggest takeaways from it is how to work with someone who is extremely resistant to the prospect that there could be people who have passed among us trying to send us messages. And so it just reminds me of how it was for you, because you just heard it and you felt it and you were comfortable enough to be able to express that with your family, but then also share it beyond that, which is just awesome.
It took time. It took time. It took time. And I can tell you that, yes, I can connect with family. And I do connect with family on like personally, like I have, members and loved ones personally, I connect with them. If my family will ask me, I'll connect with them. But on the regular, I usually I can tell you this, like, I know all the past loved ones and I know all the validations. So no matter how amazing the messages that could come through, if it's from someone else who doesn't know any of us or the people, it can hold more weight with my loved ones, if that makes sense, with any loved ones, because they can say, oh yeah, mom says Papa Bill's here. But if somebody else who doesn't know Papa Bill describes Papa Bill and says, you have someone here for you, it holds more weight with family, I feel like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise I think that maybe you just, are talking from memory or, taking snippets.
I don't think they're skeptical. They do believe in what I do. I just think it seems to hold more weight, be more magical when it comes from a different source,
Yeah. Yep. Now, did you have any experiences earlier, like in your childhood and as you were growing up, that now that you are more open and understand a lot more about this world, you can reflect on and say, oh yeah, wow, there were some signs that I had these abilities or gifts?
Yeah, I've had signs. My mom can tell you better than me because when I was too young to remember, I would tell them things. At one point, I was very close with my aunt's dog, and I was sick. I was sick at nighttime, and I was crying. And I told my mom, like, I guess I was in the ER or something. I was delirious sick, and I told my mom, like, I was crying for that dog, and she was like, "That's the weirdest thing. Why is she crying for this dog?" And I cried, 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 and she got my aunt on the line, and she said that dog was hit and killed earlier today.
Oh.
And yeah, same things like that. Like I said, somebody was someplace that I could not have possibly known. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things. And I don't yet remember that, but I do know the woo kind of feeling about that. Ooh, how does Heidi know that? And I feel like I knew not to say those kinds of things anymore.
Yeah.
And I blocked it out and I shut it off. And I've been a very normal 3D regular person. Very, very 3D. This is a huge change for me. But I can tell you, even when I was very in the 3D life, regular, didn't have any of this, I got my signs. And I can give you a really good instance.
Oh, yeah.
My oldest daughter, who was in high school at the time, tried to bring a new friend home from school just to hang out. And usually I was very open with that. Yeah, bring your friend, no big deal. Well, she comes home and I open the door for her and the friend comes to the door and I felt like someone punched me in the stomach. Like literally, like I felt like I wanted to vomit. I was sick.
Wow.
And I knew that kid is not coming in my house. I said, I'm sorry and I might be mean, but for whatever reason, like, I'm gonna throw up as soon as I looked at him. And I'm sorry, but it might sound bad, but that was my team being like, no, do not let that kid in the house. And it turned out a couple of years later that kid went to prison for murder.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So who knows what I saved my family from or what was saved in the process, but I had to listen. Like I couldn't not listen,
Yeah.
and that's a clairsentient thing. And then years and years went by and I didn't think again about feelings or signs, but that was just one sign when my team showed up for sure, man.
I love stories like that because it just, one, that you got that message in such a profound, very visceral way, but also that you listened. You know, there are a lot of people, and I have at times ignored those messages, and it's like, you know, why? I mean, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I wasn't ready to listen, I guess. But, you know, we had a little conversation about listening earlier before we went live. That is now reflecting back at me. But
That's funny.
but it's like, you know, that whole listening piece. Do you mind if I share my own story about a sign? Because I think it fits well with this. And in the 1989, 1987 San Francisco earthquake, I was a walking messenger. So I walked around from building to building delivering packages and things. And the day of the earthquake, had this this horrible pain in my heel. And so I called in because I had never had that issue. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't walk today. You know, and they're like, well, would you like to ride a bike? And I just had these visions of the bike messengers in San Francisco, which probably are even crazier than they were then now. But I'm like, yeah, no, you know, I didn't know the area that well. I had recently moved there. So I'm like, no, that's all right. I think I'll just stay home. And they're like, okay. And there I am reading a book about parallel universes colliding when the earthquake hit. And I didn't actually even realize it had hit at the time because I was reading it. And it wasn't until the lamp fell over that I was like, oh, wow, this is real. But I later, after, you know, everything for me and my husband at the time we were fine and we reconnected and everything. He was at work. But when we went to look at the damage, one of the buildings I had regularly delivered to had the whole corner blown out. It's one of the places the president visited, in fact, when he went to go there. And I'm like, I wonder, you know, this was before I was open to those, although I was reading about parallel universes, you know, there are all kinds of signs around my own interest in the paranormal and mysticism and metaphysics and stuff like that. But at the time, I just thought I had a sore heel until after that earthquake. And I'm like, wow, thank you for saving me. I just am convinced that saved my life. There were sheets of glass falling out of buildings and things, so being on the sidewalk would have been a very bad idea. So it was one of those times when I just felt, you know, I didn't know it was a sign. I just thought it was a heel issue, but you know, it worked in my favor for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I don't wonder. I believe that was a sign and you were spared from something that you did not want to have to go through at that time. I believe that 100%. And I watch my signs now. Like, I have missed signs as well and made huge detours and came back. You know, like, I watch my signs. I'm that person. If I'm getting ready to go somewhere and I stub my toe, I'm not going. Yeah. Because Spirit's telling me stop. Whatever it is, if there's something. And I can share with you too, if you don't mind, about signs. I recently bought a truck. And I followed my signs. I said, God, if I'm gonna get a truck, okay. I was kind of a smart aleck. I need a certain amount. Give me a certain amount, and I'll buy a truck if that's what you want me to do. So boom, God gave me the certain amount. So I said, oh wow, okay, God, I'll do it. So I went to go look at trucks, and the first truck I looked at, was nothing but problems. Not from start to finish, trying to contact the person, trying to get the money out of the bank, trying to get there, traffic, this, that. By the time I walked up, I was like, okay, God, I understand this is not the car for me. I get it, but I'm already here and I want to see the car. And the door panel fell off and the window it was a mess, guys. But I knew it was a mess before I even went. If I would have listened to the signs, I would have never had to waste my time and go there. Because the next one I looked at, everything was perfect. Everything lined up okay. I'm like, this is a really nice truck. I was super happy with the price. The people seemed legit. I was going to go see it. And I felt kind of a heaviness around the truck. And I thought, oh, guys, what is this heaviness? And then actually my boyfriend at the time was like, is somebody passed maybe? Maybe somebody passed who owned the truck. And I'm like, gosh, you're smart, right? And I'm like, maybe it is. And I start kind of thinking about it. I'm like, I'll know when I get there. When I get there, the first thing I'm talking, and they're letting me know, oh, it's my wife's father's truck. He passed. Wow. He left it to her. This was his baby. And I'm telling you, the synchronicities from that moment, like this man was hard of hearing. I've been learning ASL since Thanksgiving. His speaker system was blown out because he was too deaf to hear music, but I love music. So they had restored his whole speaker system so that it's like perfect. Like the synchronicities that came through that didn't have anything to do with me, but related to things in my life that are relevant, told me that this was the one for me. And I was able to talk with them and share with them that I'm a medium, that I'm a spiritual person, and that their father lives on. It was such a beautiful, beautiful process, and we're still in communication.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
those signs, listen to them.
Totally. I mean, I do. I mean, I listen to my signs as well, even though I just said, I'm getting this message about listening. But what it really shows up when I'm driving. I used to get annoyed at getting either delayed or stuck in traffic, or, like this is my route and something's changed and I am not, and I have to take a different route. It used to be that way until several times I learned after the fact. Like there was one time I was delayed and there was a motorcycle accident on that road where the motorcyclist had passed. And I actually think I interacted with her spirit. I was just there right after it happened. I mean, I didn't see it, but the ambulance hadn't come yet. And I mean, well, no, it was there, but they just blocked the road. But there was another time when I was really annoyed with something, and then I'm on this street, it was like I left later than I had intended. And so I'm on this street, and there was a cement truck that had fallen over. Like, I don't know exactly how, but it toppled over on the side. You could still see the thing turning and everything. And had I left on time on that road, I could easily have been the person in the car next to or under that cement mixer. And so I'm like, even then, that was before I really became active in the Lightworkers Lab and really exploring my spiritual gifts. But I was like, thank you. Thank you for delaying me because,
Yes.
I get to live still. And, that just, those types of signs are everywhere. And I think that openness is so beneficial because then we can relate it to other areas of our lives as well.
Absolutely. And if you notice and you notice that you notice, it's for a reason. And that's the way I look at it. Did I notice this for a reason? What does it feel like? And what music talks to me too, definitely. Music, and it can pull me in any direction. And a lot of times my guides will give me signs, again, clairaudiently or on the radio. This could happen for any of us. You get a sign, you get a song on the radio or in your head, listen to the lyrics of the song. I'll have you know that I have had my guides putting some serious songs on me that really speak to me and unlock some things going on in my life. And what do I need to do to get to a better space where I want to be, right? Those are those messages that come in as well. So those signs are important.
Definitely. I'm clairaudient as well. And so I get a lot of messages through music. And I was just noticing yesterday because I just thought it was so funny. I am driving. I was kind of aggravated yesterday. And when I left at the house, I was aggravated. And I put on Spotify because that's one of the ways different soundtracks or playlists I have that can lift my mood. But it usually starts out at a level that I'm at. I mean, where it's a huge playlist that I've created. And the first song was one that was just perfect for that mood. And then it was kind of like I'm a grunge fan, of Alice in Chains and Nirvana and stuff like that. Just from,
me too.
Are you awesome?
I am. I listen to so many different music. It takes me in whatever direction. Yeah.
Yep. So those were the first songs that came in, were ones I could sing to also, because that really, really helps me when I'm bothered. And so I'm singing along, and then I noticed gradually, this was shuffle play, by the way, that the songs began to become more positive, lighter vibe, and all of that stuff. And I'm just driving laughing at it because I'm like, you just did entrainment for me without my even having to try to do that. I used to create playlists that went through a sequence to try to lift my mood, but this just happened all on its own. And I'm just like, I love when that happens. I mean, of course, it happens a lot more now too, because I'm paying attention to it and recognize it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love when that happens for me too. Music just takes me in any kind of direction. And sometimes I just want to say that if I'm in one of those not so great moods, if I'm in a little bit of a crummy mood, I got to watch my music too, because I can go in a whole different direction. And we're all human beings here. We're all human people.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to say that as well.
Well, and I find that, for me, what works is meeting me where I'm at. But so if I need to listen to Nine Inch Nails, I do that, but I only start with that. And then I want
And
to raise it, because yeah,
absolutely.
that downward spiral is something actually, isn't that a Nine Inch Nails album? I think it might be. I didn't mean to do that, but it's like if I start where I'm at, then I can lift my mood better than if I start with something high vibe, which actually makes me angrier or more
Irritated.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. It's
It
so
irritates me.
I don't meet many people who share that. Some people just really like to go with the ethereal or the very happy songs, and I can't do that if I'm not in the right mood. It has the alternate effect.
Same for me. Same for me. So yeah, but I hear what you're saying on that music thing. Very powerful music.
Yeah.
Those emotions.
Yep. And there's a lot out there around sound healing and just binaural beats and solfeggio frequencies and things like that. I do nature sounds like Amazon forest with birds and rain and stuff like that, but also ocean waves and storms and rainstorms and things like that. All from that clairaudient perspective really help to clear the energy as well. And
Yes.
it's one of my go-to evening types of sounds.
Gotcha. I want to share something with you real quick that we
Sure.
kind of talked about in my introduction, but it's funny. So I want to share with you about my kids. When I first started developing my psychic or intuitive skills in this way, because it opened up really fast for me. I began using. I was using a pendulum. And I went to my kids and I was like, guys, check it out. This pendulum really works. I ask it yes and no questions and it answers correctly every time. Right. So we started asking all questions. They're coming up with questions. My daughter, her boyfriend, my youngest daughter, and my other son. Right. Well, my daughter was pregnant at the time and we knew it with my grandson, Emmett. And, but we didn't know the due date. We weren't very close, or we knew the month, but not the actual date. We used the pendulum to predict the actual date he was born. And that was maybe 6 months early, and it did down to the actual date. The date he was born on, August 17th. Yes, we used it for every single day, and it pinned that August 17th, and he was born on the 17th. And I'll tell you, during that time, my kids really became believers. I told them, Spirit is helping control this pendulum, and Spirit's answering our questions. They really became believers because they saw the answers were true for the things we were asking. And then we asked about the baby going to be born and everything. And we started to ask other questions. And I have to tell you, my son is the one who slapped that pendulum right out of my hand because he's like, that thing's broken. It doesn't work. Don't listen to it, because we were getting off into subjects. You know what I mean? And I want to say my kids are all wonderful and wonderful kids. But my son was a little bit the more mischievous little sneaky guy trying to get away with things. So he does feel a little I think, intimidated by this. And I have to let him know that I can't read your mind, sweetheart. It's not in my life path to read your mind and get you in trouble for every little thing. Kids are funny. The two girls, though, they really take to it. They want to learn and develop.
Yeah, my daughter is interested in learning as well. I'm approaching it slowly. She's just turning 14 tomorrow. But she early on had been encouraged by what I called healing abilities. She could heal her friends of headaches. She's healed me in the past. And so I just kind of nonchalantly threw that out there. And she was like, anytime her friend would feel off, she'd be like, let me heal you. And I'm like, okay, well, now that you're attending a religious school that doesn't reflect our own religion, I'm like, just be cautious about how you approach these things. So we're talking more about not, she can be exactly who she wants to be. I don't ever want her to hide who she is, but that there are times and places for certain conversations and to be discerning about those things. And but also teaching her some things about chakras and teaching her about energy and protective bubbles and things like that are some of the things that we're talking about now. Is that Nonny?
This is Nonny.
That's so funny. I had been in my head for probably a good 15 minutes. I've been hearing talk about Nonny. And so I'm like, yes, I will. But so
I've been waiting for her to come in. This is Nonny. She's amazing. I just got her a little lion cut because she had some foxtails and mats in her. She was very fluffy. And so she's got this, her first haircut. She's got herself a lion cut. And she
Cool.
thinks she's just Miss Thing.
I'll bet she does. She's
Yeah,
beautiful.
she does.
Now,
She's amazing, this girl.
I'm curious about your relationship. You said that you're soulmates and that, she's taught you that, people and animals can be soulmates. Can you say more about, how that all came about?
Yeah, I can tell you that she was gifted to me. And I was happy to have her. I was like, okay, give me the little kitten. And from the moment that like I had her, I seemed to just know what she was thinking and feeling. And it kind of weirded me out. It was like a claircognizant or something. Like I just knew. And it's our bond. It's the telepathy. I don't know. It's involved. It's definitely evolved. But I'll tell you this: the first moment that she came with me, I brought her into my room. And I started loving on her like this, just like getting her used to me. Hi, kitty, And so I was loving on her, and she started to get, oh yeah, I like this. Maybe you're a good person. Maybe I'll hang around, right? And she got all into it, and I noticed she was doing her little paws, and then she started to get agitated. So I noticed like she got really. It felt too intimate for her is what it was. And I knew all this. Like somehow I knew she got agitated because like, I don't really know you. And this is really fast, too intimate, too fast. Because like, she wanted to nurse on a blanket is what she wanted. And I knew, I said, this baby needs a softy blanket. Hold on. I went running around the house. I grabbed the softy blanket. I brought it back and I put it there for her. And I left the room because she didn't know me well enough. And I knew that she was in that lovey vibe because I got her there, but she didn't know me to do anything like that. So I left the room and I peeked through the door and I watched her nurse on that little blanket. And I was absolutely correct that that was exactly what she wanted and exactly why. And within, I'd say a few days, she warmed up to me. And now she has a special shawl that she carries around and she will bring it up to me, to my neck. And she wants to nurse the shawl with me at least once every day. Wow. And, this girl, like she has saved me more times than I can count. I have like sleep issues, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she knows it and she will sleep and guard me while I sleep, even if I don't need it. I'm not saying I do, but I have sleep issues and she feels that and she'll sit and watch. And when I meditate as well, she'll watch the door and wait. And if anybody comes to bother me, she'd let me know way before they do. She'll hop in my lap, make all kinds of noise. Somebody's in here. Somebody's in here. It's crazy. She's amazing. She really is. I never knew that like, I've had animals before. I've had cats in the past that like I really loved, you know what I mean? But like she knows what I'm thinking, she knows what I'm feeling, and I her as well. And it's like if I was a cat, I would be Nonny. And if she was a person, she would be me. That's how I feel about it.
Wow. Well, crazy. And the relationships I've had with pets have varied. I've loved all of the pets that, all of the animals that have been a part of my life. But there are some in particular where it seems like I know what they need. One of our dogs, who's a Weimaraner rescue, she was a puppy and she wasn't a young puppy when she came to our family, but it was clear she had some trauma and I had gotten her a squeak toy. This is a dog who's 50 pounds and she can rip a thing to shreds. She destroyed our crock pot. I mean, this is a dog with strong jaws. And, wow. But I got her this little squeaky toy called Grandpa Gimpy. That's actually his name. And he's a chicken with a little anchor tattoo on his arm and an old fashioned swimming suit. And she was a little rougher with the first one, but the first one is still around. And the second one, she treats like her child. And she's so gentle with it. And, it's like I knew that she needed something to bond with. And who knew it would be Grandpa Gimpy? Well, I guess, Spirit told me that. But it's like she hasn't bonded with other things that way. And it's like, oh, well, that's good. I'm really happy about that. So I'm curious, you have this bond with Nonny, but you do pet communication. Does it work differently for you with them than it does with you and Nonny?
Yes, definitely it does. With Nonny, and I've actually heard Trisha Carr say this in the Lightworkers Lab. She explains this so well that I will just use that from her and explain it to you a little bit. Sure. She says this: when you're communicating with your own animal, it's kind of like me asking you, how's your right big toe feeling today? Oh, hold on, let me touch my right big toe feels all right, But if you're asking, can you connect with someone else's animal? It's like someone else's animal or someone else is touching your right big toe from the outside. It's almost like that. Like, whoa, this is foreign. I can totally tell. I've had random animals stop me, and I stopped everything. I said, there's a cat somewhere trying to talk to me, and I don't know who it is. And it's because at that time I lived on 3 acres and there was a cat trapped way off in the corner, and I was able to go and help him. It's just nuts how
Wow,
this all
that's
works.
great, though.
I've done distance readings with my mom's pets just to test myself when I was newly learning, because it is different communicating with my own pets to someone else's. And I found things out that during that reading, I was like, I don't think my mom's dog is deaf in his left ear. I'm cutting it down, but my spirit's like, no, Heidi, it's coming through for a reason, and you need to put it down because you don't know everything you think you know, do you? And I don't, because spirit knows. And I put it there, and it was true. My mom was like, how did you know that? I didn't, Mom, but spirit put it there. Spirit gave it to me. I'll give you one thing about Nonny I've learned. She's blind in her left eye. She's been blind in her left eye since I've ever had her. And when I connect with her, I have felt that before. And I was on a live not too long ago, and somebody said, Heidi, can you find out anything on my health? And I said, I'm not a medical doctor of anything at all, but I'll try. And I tapped in and I said, all right, guy. I said, I'm getting something with your left eye. My cat, the only way I can give you this is my cat is blind in her left eye, and I'm feeling like I'm connecting in that same way. Like there's something going on with your left eye. And he said, I'm blind with my left eye, and I have a wandering eye.
Wow.
And I know that because I've connected with her, and I was able to put those dots together. That's how spirit works in my life.
I love that. And so you're a team in that respect. That's so cool. That
she raises my vibration. She comes and sits on me. She helps me with my pain. She's amazing.
Oh, I miss cats. I love our dogs, but I miss cats because I'd always had cats before these dogs, and they have a different energy. And I've heard, I can't remember which it is, that one of, like, either dogs or cats absorb negative energy, and then other ones are drawn to the positive energy. Not that they're taking that, but that, and I don't remember which is which. And it seems like the cats are the ones that maybe helped absorb the negative energy. It seems to me like our dogs disperse the negative energy, or try to, especially through barking, which ours typically do a lot of. Not that there's negative energy around, but they break up the energy. And I think that's actually pretty cool.
And if you notice, with dogs or cats, any pets that you have, if you're having any physical pain, like your feet hurt or whatever it is, watch your pets. They will sit close to where it's hurting you because they want their vibration and their good intentions to help you heal. It's very true. So keep an eye on that. People just, I love, like, I pay attention to these little pets, like each one is an individual person, because they are. They're all souls. They're all souls like us.
I completely agree. They both have, like for our dogs, have very distinct personalities. All of the cats that have been a part of my life have had very distinct personalities. And we're definitely a family where, our poor daughter has grown up thinking she has siblings because of the dogs. It's like, I'm like, well, they're your sisters, but they're just not human sisters,
Exactly.
People in her school thought she had sisters, and it's like, well, she kind of does, but not the way you're thinking.
That's so cute.
Well, I have to tell you, we have 5 minutes left, and the time just blew by. And I'm just curious if there's anything else you'd like to share, any other stories you'd like to bring forth before we say so long for now.
Oh man, I don't know. I can't think of anything real important that I want to say. I'm just glad to be here, man. And life is magical, and I'm a regular, real person, just like everyone else. And I tell people that because it is possible. Like, the door is not only open for special people or for people who are whatever. Like, that door is open for all of us, and anyone can connect to their team. Anyone can connect to animals. Anyone can connect to their past loved ones. Anyone can connect to spirit. And that's all it really is connecting with spirit and trusting spirit to do the rest for you. And I just want to say thank you for letting me be here, and keep connecting, everyone. Keep connecting.
Well, I really appreciate your saying yes to being on this show, Heidi. It's been a real pleasure talking with you. And I would like to second what you said about these abilities, these skills, these gifts, however you want to talk about it, are open to everybody. And I firmly believe that openness is important, as is trust. And, that those are some of the hardest things, the trust and intention as well, that can go along with some practices, but those things can be, those are, they take some practice, but it also can be done if you are willing to release the need for control and what we've met, most of us been brought up with in the three-dimensional physical world about what is or isn't possible. Once we're able to look beyond that, that's when the magic truly can, I believe, happen. And so, yes, thank you.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I second that. Once I stopped with needing validation from other people to know my experiences were real, once I stopped needing that, it freed up so much.
Yes. Very much so. Heidi, I just love talking with you, and I just really appreciate, again, you're taking the time to be here with us. This is something Heidi was going to be with us last month, and then I had to cancel. And so I'm thankful for your flexibility in coming on this month and sharing your story. It's just been a real pleasure to get to know you better. And thank you to everybody else who has joined us today. I hope you do check us out again next month, but thank you for being here today and hearing Heidi's story and sharing with the energy of this experience. So with that, I will say so long for now. Wishing you a mystical, magical week, month, days out of order ahead, but we'll see you again next month. Megan's Mystical Mashup was recorded live in the exclusive Lightworkers Lab Facebook group on March 13th, 2021. Learn more at thelightworkerslab.com. Learn more about Megan at SpEx-Ed.com. That's SPEX-Ed.com. On Facebook at SpEx-Ed with no dash or Mystical Mashup. Instagram, SpEx_ED. And on YouTube by searching for Megan's Mystical Mashup. Learn more about Heidi at spiritspeaks.org, at SpiritSpeaks11 on Facebook, or by searching for Spirit Speaks with Heidi Corona on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed the show.